Well, we are here at Miami Fruit and Spice Park, and with us is Louise, who's a horticulturist here and knows a lot about the park. Behind us is the entrance to the park. That's important because you're going to want to visit this place. But Louise, could you tell us a little bit about the history of the park?
Sure. This park was created in 1944, and it was originally designed to show people what could grow in this area. Most of the people that were moving into the Redland area were from up north, were from Michigan and New York, and they were coming to Florida expecting to be able to grow apples and grapes and peaches, things that they grew back home. But when they got here and they planted those things and they miserably failed, they realized this isn't going to work. And it didn't work because this is a tropical climate and soil, different kind of soils. So this park was kind of like a demonstration area to show people what they could grow. Instead of growing peaches, they could grow mangoes. They could grow jackfruit, lychees, longans, guava, all these wonderful tropical flavors and trees that they weren't able to grow up north. So this park was a demonstration farm, sort of, for up until about the 1970s. And at that point, Chris Rollins, some of you might recognize that name, he came here as the manager, and he was, as you say, a tropical fruit enthusiast. He loved tropical fruit.
And then some.
And then some, yes. And he came here, and he brought with him, like he liked to say, he brought with him his dowry of about 17 jackfruit trees, which he planted here in the park. He expanded the scope and focus of the Fruit and Spice Park. He traveled the world with volunteers from the community, other people who were enthusiastic about tropical fruits, and he collected seeds, and he collected cuttings, which were a little bit easier to get into the country at that time, and they planted them here at the park. So the variety of tropical fruits greatly expanded. Well, in 1992, Hurricane Andrew came, and since the eye went right over here, this park was just leveled. Very few things survived. But with that tragic event, an opportunity presented itself in that now they could redesign and institute a plan they'd been thinking about, a new master plan, to make this park an ethnobotanical park, to show the public how man utilizes plants from around the world. So they divided the park into 5 different regions of the world: Africa, Asia, Australia and the Pacific Islands, the tropical America, and the Mediterranean climate. And in each of those sections of the park, they planted plants that the people in that region of the world utilized, whether it was for food or for fiber, for clothing, for religious significance or economic importance. They wanted to show how people used plants in different regions of the world. And that is still the focus of the park today. This is the only ethnobotanical park in the United States. So we're pretty happy and pretty proud about that.
Yeah, I know you have a huge number of trees,
yes.
Very diverse things. And, so if you happen to be from a certain part of the world and you come here and go to the appropriate area of the grove, it will feel like home, I assume, for a lot of people.
We are within, I think, about 100 miles of 3 international airports. And that brings a lot of visitors from all over the world. And they come here and they go into that section of the park from where they're from, and they recognize the trees from back home. Maybe their grandmother made a special dish, or they made a necklace out of some sort of beads or something. It has an instant connection to the majority of people that come here.
So I know that this is a very popular place, but especially on weekends, I assume.
Yes, it is. Saturday and Sundays are quite busy. But it's a 40-acre park, so you can spread out.
Right.
But if you like a little bit more relaxed, a little bit quiet visit, during the week is a little bit better time.
Yeah, it's great. You know, we are here in the middle of the week, and there are very few people right now.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm hoping to take a look inside the park, but I do want to, you know, like mention again that this is a great destination. And when you get here, hopefully you can get here during the week and not on the weekend. So you have lots of parking opportunities. And you go into this house here, actually, I guess did it used to be a house?
It's a replica of a schoolhouse.
Oh, okay.
And this replica of the schoolhouse used to live right across the street where the church is now. And Hurricane Andrew leveled it. So they were able to resurrect or redesign.
Recreate.
Recreate the schoolhouse right here. And the old cafe is a typical pioneer house.
So yeah, you definitely, I mean, there's stuff to buy in there, but that's also the entrance to the park. And so you can go through the park, and then after you see all the wonderful things, you can go to the cafe and eat.
Yes. Yes. Well, and also too, we have that rule that you're welcome to sample any of the fruits that have fallen onto the ground here in the park. Just make sure you know what it is, because there are a few fruits that could make you give you a stomach ache. But they're well marked within the park. But you're more than welcome to share with the rabbits and the raccoons any fruit that you find on the ground.
Yeah, that I'm sure is a very popular part of the whole experience.
It is, especially during mango season.
Yes. Well, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
I'm hoping that you can show us one of those areas of the park right now.
Will do.
Sounds good. Well, I am seeing a lot of really gorgeous bamboo here.
Yes.
So where are we, and what can you tell us about all these different bamboos?
Okay, we're in another hemisphere now. We're north of the equator. We're in the Asian section of the park now. And one of our unique collections here is the bamboo that we have here. We have about 50 or so different varieties and cultivars of bamboo. And the bamboo that we have here is the clumping type. There are two types, clumping and running. The running type, it does exactly what it says. It just takes off, the root goes, and off these big culms start to go. The clumping type stays in a nice little mat like this, and it's better behaved of the two types of bamboo. But bamboo is a wonderful plant. It has so many incredible uses. Many of us think of them just as little bamboo shoots that we eat on food, on stir fries, but there are so many other uses for this plant. Not only is it a beautiful landscaping plant, but it can be used for the large varieties like the one we have over here, the gigantea here. It can be used for scaffolding. It can be used for logs, like to make structures to houses. Those ones can also be used for irrigation to divert water in the yard or in the field. You can use them, you've probably seen in Publix, they've got the little cutting boards made of bamboo and placemats, and I've seen chairs and flooring made of bamboo. It's just so many uses. It's an incredibly versatile and very useful plant. And like I said, it's very beautiful too. This is one of the very prettiest bamboo. They have this beautiful two colors. You have the green and the yellow culm. One thing I wanted to mention was how fast this plant grows. This little piece of bamboo starts here, and you can see it's I'm 5.5 feet, so this is maybe about 7 feet, but it'll get all the way up to the top within 1 year. It grows incredibly fast. And I always think it looks like a piece of asparagus, but a very large piece of asparagus coming out of the ground. But it gets that up in the first year, and the second year, that's when it'll flower and it'll be mature, and then the last year, the third year, usually, that's when they'll start to decline. So they usually have about a 3 to 4 year lifespan. So when you're maintaining your mat here, is you want to keep these. They like to be well watered. It's basically a big piece of grass. So you don't ever want to spray Roundup on it, because that's the thing that kills grass. So you're going to have to hand weed your bamboo mat here. But it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. This is Balimbi, and it has an unusual growth method. It's very much like ethnobotanical. It grows right on the stem like this. And you can see there's a lot of it here on the floor. Maybe you can figure out what it's related to if I show you this. Does it remind you of carambola? Can you see the star pattern there? But it doesn't taste like carambola. It's incredibly bitter. It's very, they pickle this. In Asia, they use this as a pickle. But it's Avaroa, the same species as carambola, but this is Avaroa balimbi. Okay, and you can see that star pattern in this plant. It's very productive. You can see it growing all the way up to the top. And as I said, it's mostly used just in pickles. I think it's an acquired taste.
Best in small quantities.
Okay, well, we're going through our carambola sections. These are very old varieties. You don't really find these much anymore. They've got sweeter ones than these were originally planted. But over here, we have jackfruit. Now these are pretty small ones. I know that looks really big, but this is a very small fruit. If you pan up there, you can see some big, oh, there's one, that one. That's a big one there. This is the largest fruit in the world. The biggest one that we have ever had here at the park weighed 68 pounds. Yeah, it was big. But I've heard them getting much larger than that. This is a wonderful, wonderful fruit. It can be eaten unripe, not immature, and it's used at that point as a vegetable. If you let it ripen on the tree, it starts to emit a wonderful fragrance, and it has a little bit of a give to it. And then you cut it open, and it's arranged very much like a corn on the cob. You have the central core, and then around it are the seeds that are connected to that core. And around the seeds are some flesh, and that's the part that you eat. It has a flavor of juicy fruit gum. That seems like the best way that you can describe it. It's a wonderful fruit, and it doesn't take up much space in the landscape, and it's very productive.
So this is an impressive feature. I hadn't seen this until right now, and it's just like a beautiful, like piece of paradise.
Yes, it is, and it has a wonderful sound.
Yes.
It's very restful. We have a lot of people just coming here, and they'll sit at the picnic tables nearby under the shade, and you can just hear that wonderful, soothing sound. It's a very restful place, and it's very photogenic. The purpose of this whole park now is to emphasize man's dependence upon plants and how he utilizes them. Everybody all around the world depends on plants, and we just want people to understand how our lives are very, very much connected to the plant world.
So the park is open like pretty much all the time, every day.
I think every day but Christmas and Thanksgiving, maybe? Something like, it's like 2 days that it's not open.
So, like if you're in the area, this is a great place to stop. And Could you describe sort of the experience that a lot of people have in the park?
Okay, what we have here in the park is we have guided tours throughout the day, tram rides. They're narrated by very knowledgeable guides here, and they take you all around the world and show you and talk about many of the plants that we saw today. We have a self-guided walking tour. We have classes here that people can attend on cultural practices or cooking. I'm doing one on preservation, canning the harvest probably in June. But various topics. And we have stargazing activities. We have in the spring and in the fall, we have the Southern Cross Astronomical Society come. They bring their telescopes and we set them out in the open field. And we have it normally very close to a full moon. Mm-hmm. And they'll put their telescopes on the moon or on the planets or on the stars, and it's a wonderful opportunity for people to come out and into a dark, safe area lit by the moon. We have a campfire, we sell some more kits, so it's very much a family evening.
Yeah, and you do festivals beyond that,
in
right?
addition to that, yes, we have festivals, about 4 or 5 a year. They're scattered pretty much throughout the year. We have a heritage festival that talks about the heritage, the area, the history of the area, and it celebrates the plants and the fruits that we have here. We just had a blues and barbecue festival where we had blues bands come. We had barbecue trucks for selling barbecue.
Sounds like fun.
It was great, very relaxing. We have the summer fruit festival in June, and that celebrates all of the fruits that we have during that time. We usually have a very large mango display, so it's a good opportunity to see the different types of cultivars, and maybe you can find the one that's growing on the unidentified tree in your yard, hopefully.
Yeah, we did notice a huge number of mango varieties here.
Yes.
Do you have any idea about how many you have?
We have about 225, 30 mango trees, and we have about 180 known cultivars. So it's quite a selection.
Yeah,
yes.
It's great. Yeah.
It's a great one. And speaking of mangoes, we have a support club, the Tropical Fruit and Vegetable Society, the Redland, who has been with the park since the 1980s. They have been supporting us, and they put on an educational class called Mango Mania. And it's right about the time of the Summer Fruit Festival. And they collect many different types of mangoes, and they give samples. You eat till you're sick of mangoes. And they also have a well-known lecturer. We've had Jonathan Crane in the past. We've had Richard Campbell, Mike Winterstein from USDA. They give a class, about a 2-hour lecture, and talks about the history and harvesting and growing, many different aspects of mangoes. So if you're a mango lover, this is a great class to go to.
So, I mean, not only is this a great place to come if you just happen to be in town and you want to see all sorts of trees from around the world, the tropical world, but I've noticed some people in the park that seem to be regulars, and I'm assuming that you have a year-long membership available also?
Yes, we do. We have a daily pass, but we also have a lifetime membership, an annual membership. You can purchase that membership, and you're welcome to come throughout the year and anytime. We have one person that comes here and does walking all around the park.
It's a beautiful place. Yeah, beautiful place.
Yeah. It's a wonderful place to be, and it's a wonderful place to work. I've enjoyed my time here.
Well, thanks so much, Louise.
You're welcome.